Hi guys, it's Jake at Canadian Cutting Edge, and today we're taking a look at the CASE Stockman 26021, according to the model number on the packaging. But on the blade itself, on the sheepfoot blade, it says this is the 6347SS. And you'll find both of those numbers if you find this knife online. And I'm not sure why they've got two different numbers for the same knife, but it is what it is. CASE is one of the high-end companies for making this style. CASE is arguably one of the best companies for making this style of traditional slip joint knife, certainly the Stockman. And this guy was given to me by a viewer who wants to remain anonymous, and so it will remain that way. And I'm ready to do my review of this since I've had it for a few weeks and I've played with it and I've enjoyed it and I've carried it a fair bit, and I'm going to carry this guy a whole lot more. It's a beautiful little knife. If you're interested at all in this style of knife, stick around for the full review of the CASE Stockman. The Stockman is a classic knife. It looks great and very functional, very useful in so many different ways. And CASE knows how to make a knife not only look good, but it's also very functional and very useful. So what we've got is that clip point blade. We've got a sheep's foot blade. Some people might want to call it a Wharncliffe. And we've got a spay blade, which is an old school, kind of almost a tanto kind of thing with a belly. It's a really weird kind of knife that most people don't know very much about these days, but it was for exactly what the name is about, spay. It's for spaying animals. And they use that style blade to do that job. Very few of us who carry knives these days are into keeping stock, and so we don't know how to use that to spay an animal at all. But it's still a very good blade, very useful, very functional, and good in a lot of ways. All three of these blades are hollow grinds. These are bone, jigged bone inlays here. This is called a walnut brown, although it looks a little bit more reddish than it does walnut brownish, but it looks really good. And I've heard some other people say the same thing, that some people had theirs a little bit faded and it was also very reddish instead of brownish. Yeah, not that bad. I like how it looks. This one's really, really good. It's a slip joint, obviously, and the slip joint tension is quite good. It has a fair bit of resistance before you can start to close it, and it requires a fair bit to pull it. So you can just see how springy that is, because it just, you let go and it just flies closed. All of them are very much the same amount of tension. Pretty much exactly what you would expect. If you are used to these kinds of knives, you're used to what kind of tension you should be getting, and this guy is just right on. It's just the way it should be. Let's talk about these three blades. The clip point, it's 6.4 centimeters of cutting edge, which is 2.5 inches. So that's from the sharpener's choil to the tip. The sheep's foot blade is 4.5 centimeters of cutting edge. That's 1 1/8 inch. And the spay blade here is 4.2 centimeters of cutting edge, which is 1.7 inches. The thickness of these blades, they're all different. The clip point, and I measured it back here at the Ricasso. This one's 2 millimeters. This one's 1.5, and the spay is 1.6 millimeters thick. That's 0.85 inches, 0.6 inches, 0.65 inches. The handle length is 9.8 centimeters, which is 3.85 inches. The thickness of the handle is 1.3 centimeters, which is just over half of an inch, 0.52 inches. The total length of the knife, and I'm only measuring it for the longest blade, the whole length of this knife when it's open like this is 17.2 centimeters, which is 6.77 inches. And the thing weighs 77 grams, which is 2.7 ounces. So it's a knife that really carries easily, It's a drop in your pocket. There's no lanyard hole. There's no ring to grab onto and put anything on. It's just the knife as you see it, and it's just either a pocket dropper, or might be able to find a small pouch to put on your hip, on your belt or whatever, and drop this guy into a pouch. Whichever way is just fine. It's a pin construction, so you can probably see it on this one with the lighting. There's a pin in the middle of that bolster there. It goes all the way through. You can see it coming out on this side. On this side, they've done such a good job with cleaning it up that you can't see the pin, but there's a pin through there, all right. And then here's another large pin that goes all the way through the whole system. And then these two pins on either side are just holding the handle scales on this jigged bone section. So you got three large pins that hold the whole thing together. The fit and finish is really good on this knife. I got it used, so I don't know how pristine it would have been when it was brand new, but it's really good like this. The packaging says that it was created in June of 2016, so it's not even a year old since its manufacture date. And I don't think that the gentleman who gave this knife to me used it very much at all. It's just in very good condition, and it looks like it's got the factory edge on it, and I forgot to ask him if it does or not, but it really looks like it does. If you want to buy one of these, they're still available. They're still on there, listed as in production. I'm going to put on links for Amazon.ca and Amazon.com. I'm an associate with Amazon, so if you use my links to purchase this knife, it helps the channel out with a little bit of funds for each sale. And I'm going through some really difficult times financially right now, so if you're planning on buying it anyway, consider using my links. It would help me out. I'm not asking you to buy something you don't want. Don't do that. That's not what I'm talking about at all. The fit and finish on this, I would classify it as very good. And the only things that downgrade that a little bit is that I can see this pin right here. And it should be like this side. And the fact that these two blades rub together. You can see right there where it rubs. And then on the opposite side, on this one, you can see right here where this clip starts. There's a little bit of a mark there. It's really hard. There you go. That on that angle, you can see it right there. So those two knives come together and they touch each other. And when you've got three blades all within this little space right here, it's no wonder that they touch each other. That's not a big problem. There's always blade play on these a little bit anyway. Well, not always. There's usually a little bit of blade play. And I don't know if that was from the factory or if that happened afterwards, and that's what happens when you get something that's used. But I don't take too much points off for that from CASE. CASE has done a really good job with this knife. They put their little logo emblem right in there, and that says CASE. And maybe I can do a close-up shot with my USB microscope to get a better picture of that. These blades are really nicely sharpened. I've done nothing to them, and they've just got a really nice edge to them. You want to see how well they cut? Well, I hit the camera right there. Let's demonstrate how well this knife cuts. I've got just some copy paper here, and see how nice and clean that cut is? And you can just hear it as well. It's a nice clean cut. And let's try the other blades, just for demonstration purposes. Very clean cut there. And let's try with the other hand here. The spay blade. You know, it also cuts quite well. And there's the spay blade. They all cut quite well. They come quite sharp. You can do the nail neck test, and it catches, all of them catch on the nail really well all the way across. The thickness of the edge behind the grind is right around 0.5 millimeter, which is right around 0.02 inches. Very much the size that you want for an EDC knife, and all three of these blades make up a very good EDC knife together. There's no hot spots when you hold this knife. When these blades are in, they have a little bit of springiness to them due to the the bar spring in here, which kind of helps when you're holding it so that it doesn't create hot spots, because each one gives a little bit of give to it while you're holding it, and that's a good thing. It works really well. I like how this knife looks. I like how it feels. The sharpness is good. The coloring is good. The fit and finish is good. It's just not phenomenal. I usually expect a little bit more out of CASE, but it's not far from, for a $50 knife, it's a good knife. It's still in that budget category, although it's on the higher end of what I call a budget category. If you've never owned a CASE before and you like this styling, I have no reason to say, hold back or think twice, nothing like that. If you find a CASE at a good price and you find a look that you like, go for it. You can find these in almost any color that they've stained bones in, across the spectrum, any color that you want. A lot of different designs. There's so many different options with slip joint knives of this older style. I was born in the late 60s, and this is the kind of knife I grew up with, so I have an affinity for these knives. And, so I recommend it. It's a good knife. If you have been part of this channel for a long time as a subscriber, I want to take this extra opportunity to thank you again. You guys have really made my my last year and stuff. I appreciate it so very much that you guys are interacting with me in the comments, letting me know how things are going with you and your questions and comments about the knives. I really appreciate that. It's much better than me sitting in front of a TV just slowly rotting away. I'm still facing other, physical issues and challenges and stuff, but I face each day and head on and just keep moving forward. And if you're new to this channel, thanks for stopping by and checking this out. Would like to encourage you to subscribe and click that bell so you can be notified of every video as it comes out. Thanks so much for commenting and subscribing, and if you like the video, even if you don't like the knife, if you like the review, if you think I did a good job of it, please click on that thumbs up. And if you know anybody who's looking for a knife like this, share this video with them. And remember to always cut towards your chum, that is the other guy, and not your thumb.